everybody. It is a new week during this Lenten season. If you've been following along, Lisa and I have teamed up with this it's been so rich, Lisa, getting to listen to you and share together, put our voices together, especially in this moment, which is both a political crisis, but also a spiritual crisis as well. I think
It's been rich. It's
yeah.
been wonderful. Thank you.
And this week, we sort of have a loose theme each week. In these videos, the one that we launched the week with, this one is a little longer, and most of the ones through the week are just a minute or two. So it makes it easy for you to tune in. We're also trying not to just do the talking head thing, but give concrete practices and ways that we can respond, including ourselves, to each other as we listen. So as we think about immigration and hospitality, to start with the good news, I mean, our friends Jenny Yang and Matthew Sorens have written this book, Welcome the Stranger. There's all kinds of really wonderful resources. But one of the things that Jenny has pointed out over and over, Lisa, when I've talked with her, is that if you look historically, welcoming immigrants and refugees, asylum seekers, that has not been a left thing or right thing, but a Jesus thing, a love thing, a compassion thing. And some of our highest numbers of immigrants and refugees have actually been under Republican presidents. And some of our lowest ones have been recently under several administrations. We've got the most chaotic immigration lack of immigration reform happening. So a lot of folks are just looking to get out of places where they're unsafe. There's folks that are escaping horrific situations. There's people that are born here, right? DACA recipients, dreamers, that they've never even lived in the countries that their parents came from, don't speak those languages. And so the real question, I think, is what does it look like to stand on the side of love and compassion? And as you look at scripture, it's so clear, y'all. I mean, that we are to welcome the foreigner as if it was our own family, our own flesh and blood, because we ourselves were once foreigners in the land of Egypt. That when we welcome the stranger, we know that we are welcoming Christ. So this is holy work. And this is not just an immigration or border crisis. It's a compassion crisis. And some of this is about race too, right? Where we hear some
It
of
is
our
about race.
legislators saying we'll let in white South Africans or people from Norway or Sweden, but not people from Haiti or something. I mean, this is messed up. So anyway, Lisa, those are my random thoughts.
No, well, I mean, actually, Shane, I love your random thoughts, and I'll add to them. I'm very much influenced by the first peoples of this land, the indigenous peoples, the native nations. They were very diverse amongst themselves. I mean, 500 nations, right, that lived on this land before Columbus ever even never stepped foot on North American soil. He literally never even came here, but we have this whole thing for him. When we look at how they interacted with people who migrated, they welcomed. In fact, that's the very reason why they ended up being subjugated by the Europeans, because the Europeans didn't have that ethic. They dominated. And so the indigenous people welcomed, and that is the model for what it looks like for us to live in a way that honestly is closer to God, closer to the way that Creator wants us to live together. And in Leviticus, God says it explicitly, just what you just said, do not oppress the immigrant. I mean, literally, that's what God says. Do not oppress the immigrant, and instead treat the immigrant as if they are a citizen. Wow, what would that look like for us? And honestly, it would solve so many problems in our society. Did you know that the very first race laws ever were also the very first citizenship laws in America, on American soil? The very first one in 1662 was crafted to figure out who could be enslaved. And who could be enslaved had to do with who we had as a citizen, who could be a citizen. And the citizens back then were not, of course, America. It was 1662. It's a British colony. British law said you could not enslave another British subject, another British citizen. And so they had to figure out who was going to be a citizen. And they figured that out by changing how citizenship was determined. It had been determined through the line of the father, and they changed it to be through the line of the mother, because the mothers on slave plantations were the ones being raped, and they were Black. And so now if your mother was enslaved, then you too are enslaved. And they added the words in perpetuity. So racial caste, and citizenship have always gone hand in hand. Always. Never has there been a time on this soil when it hasn't gone hand in hand. So when we ask the question of immigration, And how do we repair what we've broken in terms of our immigration system? The number one thing we have to think about is the distribution of power and how we have created an immigration system from the very beginning that favors the entrenchment and protection of white male power. So, what does it look like then for us to redesign that immigration system in a way that is not trying to entrench or protect any racial caste, but rather is trying to honor the image of God in all?
And so all week we're going to give some action steps of things that we can do. Today, though, I just want to say if you go to redletterchristians.org, you can see our bookstore and other resources. And we've got Lisa's book. Her books go into deep detail on all of this. You can also find books by our friend Alexia Salvatierra, who's been organizing around this for decades. And we're going to keep adding books like the Welcome the Stranger and others and other resources. We've had panels on immigration where we hear from people that have been directly impacted and tell their stories. So go to redletterchristians.org and make sure you're already a part of freedomroad.us as well. So tune in every day, though. We look forward to being with you and sharing some thoughts. So happy Lent, 40 days, 40 ways.